Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're watching Super 6 here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nadagopal getting you the top stories over the next 60 minutes of the day. Let's begin by telling you the 6 stories that we'll be getting you more details on. Our top story on Super 6 today is on India closing off its airspace for Pakistan, literally clipping Pakistan's wings. What is the impact of this airspace lockdown on Pakistan? How much money will they lose? We'll be breaking down all of that as we show you the new route that Pakistan airlines and flights will have to take. Now, story number 2 on Super 6 is also the digital strike by the Modi government against Pakistan. Some of their biggest actors, celebrities are now blocked. Their Instagram accounts not visible on Indian soil. And a slew of celebrities, actors, singers, none of their social media accounts are active in India. One of many steps that the country has taken as part of this digital strike that they've kicked off right now. Story number 3 on Super 6. We'll be focusing on the Waves Summit in Mumbai. One of a kind, the who's who of the film industry, artists, creators, all coming together. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the summit where he said that Waves isn't just an acronym, it's a wave of content and creativity that we're witnessing in the nation. Story number 4 here on Super 6. I've been getting you glimpses, highlights of my conversation with superstar Ajith on his birthday. As we've put out the full interview here on India Today, we'll focus on one particular aspect of what Ajith's message is to his peer Vijay, as Vijay is embarking now on a political journey. We'll get you that exclusive in just a bit. Also, a follow-up on the Caste census political showdown. That's coming up also here on Super 6. As Congress is claiming credit for the move, the BJP is hitting back. We'll get you the big political back and forth over the caste census. And finally, story number 6 here on Super 6. As always, we'll get you all the action from the Indian Premier League. MS Dhoni's exchange with Danny Morrison at the toss before the game against Punjab Kings has left his fans anxious about whether Dhoni will come back next year in the IPL. And let's begin with the first statement that's come in from Home Minister Amit Shah. Speaking today, he's delivered a stern warning to the perpetrators of the Pahalgam attack, not mincing his words. Home Minister Amit Shah has said very, very clearly that every terrorist involved in the Pahalgam terror attack will be hunted down. Nobody will be spared. A very clear warning being shot off by the Home Minister to terrorists and saying that the Modi government's resolve to fight terror has only been strengthened and that they will put an end to terrorist activities. Listen in to what Home Minister Amit Shah said in Delhi at an event earlier.
मैं सभी आतंक फैलाने वालों को कहना चाहता हूं कि लड़ाई का अंत नहीं है, एक मकाम है। हर व्यक्ति को चुन चुन कर जवाब भी मिलेगा, जवाब भी लिया जाएगा। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में चाहे उत्तर पूर्व हो, चाहे वामपंथी उग्रवाद का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे कश्मीर पर पड़ी आतंकवाद की छाया हो, हर चीज का मजबूती के साथ हमने जवाब दिया है। और अगर कोई एक कायराना हमला कर ये समझता है कि हमारी बड़ी जीत है, तो एक बात मन से समझ लीजिए, ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार है, किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा, किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। इस देश की इंच इंच भूमि पर से आतंकवाद को मूल समेत उखाड़ने का हमारा संकल्प है और वो सिद्ध होकर रहेगा। न केवल 140 करोड़ भारतीय, पूरी दुनिया भारत के साथ खड़ी है। लामबंद होकर सभी दुनिया के देश एक मुश्त होकर आतंकवाद के खिलाफ ये लड़ाई में भारत की जनता के साथ खड़े हैं। और मैं फिर से संकल्प दोहराना चाहता हूं, जब तक आतंकवाद समाप्त नहीं होगा हमारी लड़ाई चालू रहेगी और जिन लोगों ने एक कृत्य किया है उसका उचित दंड उनको निश्चित रूप से दिया जाएगा।
Let's get you more breaking news that's coming in. The US Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has spoken to Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, and now details trickling in of the conversation between the two world leaders. We understand that the US Secretary of Defense has expressed his condolences for the loss of lives in the Pahalgam terror attack and importantly also expressed solidarity with India. Pete Hegseth had a conversation with Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, and also we understand that there was a very clear message that was sent across of solidarity. The defense minister, Rajnath Singh, told his US counterpart about Pakistan's history of supporting, funding, training terrorist organizations. And so clearly, Pakistan being exposed to a global platform as a rogue state. Now, the defense minister also said it's important for the world to come together, for the global community to explicitly and unequivocally condemn and call out such heinous acts of terror. To which you had the US Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, reiterating full support of the US government in India's fight against terrorism. He said it very clearly, with mincing no words. He said US stands in solidarity with India and supports India's right to defend itself. Very important, that statement, because that means that America is putting its weight behind India, making it very clear who it really stands with in this fight against terror. World leaders, one after another, have been speaking out, expressing their solidarity with India. And we've seen multiple conversations with America. The defense minister spoke, an external affairs minister has spoken too. Shivani Sharma is joining us with more details on this. Shivani, clear 100% backing from America for India in the fight against terror.
Akshita, this is a big diplomatic win of India, and especially in India's fight against terror. When United States is rendering full support to India, it says that it not only stands in solidarity with India, but it also supports India's power and India's right to defend itself. That means whatever India decides to counter terror state Pakistan, United States is with India, it's supporting India. And Defense Minister Rajnath Singh had this conversation with the US Secretary of Defense, and both of them had a long conversation in which not only the US Secretary of Defense condemned this attack, he also conveyed his sympathies for the families who've lost their people in this particular attack. He called this attack a very cowardly, a dastardly attack. He condemned this attack. And Rajnath Singh in this conversation, particularly Akshita, pointed out how Pakistan has been harboring terrorism. They've been training terrorists on their soil. They've been pushing terrorists in Indian boundaries. So this is a big diplomatic win when United States and all the leaders of the United States, Akshita, they are absolutely with India in this fight against terror, and they are not only with India, but they are sending out a very strong message to Pakistan and to the global community that India has its right to defend itself, and whatever India does,
very true,
India will be supported by United States. So this is a big statement that has come in after this conversation. That was a very important and a crucial one. Akshita.
Okay, big development this, and more support really for India from the global community. And the defense minister also in that conversation with Pete Hegseth, making it very clear that you cannot mince words. You must call out Pakistan for shielding and harboring terrorists. And it looks like US also has agreed, saying India has every right to defend itself. Thanks very much, Shivani, for joining us with those details. But let's talk about the big decision taken by India late last night of closing off its airspace for Pakistan. The latest move against Pakistan by India is closing off our airspace. So let me begin by showing you how this affects Pakistan. The path they took earlier versus now. Flights would fly right through India, particularly if you were to look at flights to Kuala Lumpur. So now Pakistan flights which are traveling, let's say, to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia from Lahore will now be forced to take longer detours to reach destinations across India. Obviously, that raises operational costs. It increases travel time as well. So instead of cutting straight down, they now have to go all the way around through China, through Vietnam, and then touch down in Kuala Lumpur. An addition of 2 hours to an otherwise 6-hour journey becomes 8 hours. India has closed off its airspace right up till May 24th, so about a month. Before I break down the ramifications of this move, here's a report first on why India took this step.
After Pakistan shut its airspace to Indian airlines, it is getting a taste of its own medicine. India has retaliated by shutting down its airspace to Pakistani airlines till May 24. Now flights to the east from Pakistan will be forced to take a long detours to reach destinations, raising operational costs and increasing travel time.
The flights originating from Islamabad to Kuala Lumpur of Pakistan International Airlines, which generally takes about 5 hours 30 minutes, will now take 8 hours 30 minutes. In simple language, this is the implication. Any aircraft originating from Pakistan, which has to go to, say, Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, will have to take a longer route over the sea.
The shutting of Indian airspace comes amid escalating tensions between the two countries in the wake of the horrific Pahalgam attack. According to sources, India has deployed jamming systems to disrupt global navigation satellite system signals of Pakistani military aircraft. Panic-struck Pakistan has once again claimed the chances of conflict between the two nations are increasing.
बहरहाल इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी भी इस भागदौड़ में लगी हुई है कि कोई दोस्त ममालिक भी, इस खित्ते के ममालिक भी, बड़ी ताकतें भी कि ये क्लैश की सूरत हाल जो है अवर्ट हो जाए. जो वो हमला जिस तरह का वो करेंगे, जिस तरह का वो ताकत का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, इंशाल्लाह उससे फिर ज़्यादा ही हम इस्तेमाल करेंगे.
India has adopted a multi-pronged approach to avenge the Pahalgam terror attack. The closure of airspace is the latest in a series of retaliatory measures taken by India. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's talk about how this impacts Pakistan. 6 weekly flights of Pakistan Airlines will be impacted because of India shutting its airspace for Pakistani flights. So let's talk about PIA. That's the Pakistan International Airlines. It usually has 6 weekly flights, which is from Islamabad to Kuala Lumpur and from Lahore to Kuala Lumpur. Services along this route will be affected due to the Indian airspace ban. Now, what it will lead to is a 2-hour delay for flights. These flights usually last about 6 hours. It will now become 8 hours, which is a huge added waste essentially for Pakistan. How much money are we talking about here? What kind of losses will Pakistani airlines suffer? We broke it down for you. So previously, a 6-hour journey, I'm talking about Lahore to Kuala Lumpur, it would cost somewhere between 12.3 million to 20.2 million Pakistani rupees. I'm talking about wide-body aircrafts. Now, after that duration increases from 6 hours to 8 hours, because 2 hours have been added, the flight can't go like this, it goes all the way around. The charge that you're seeing increasing becomes 16.8 million to 26.9 million Pakistani rupees. Mind you, this is per flight. The additional cost essentially, if we break that down, is about 4.5 million to 6.7 million Pakistani rupees. We break that down further. Like I told you earlier, 6 flights per week from Lahore, Islamabad to Kuala Lumpur. So you calculate that and look at how much losses they're going to report per week. It's at 27 million to 40.2 million loss every week. In all, considering that India's closed off its airspace right up to May 24th, that's 4 weeks. Overall, Pakistan is staring at a loss of 108 million to 160.8 million. And this, imagine, is the loss that a country that's already struggling with an economic crisis is going to be facing. Its airlines, this is the Pakistan International Airlines flight that we're talking about, could now be suffering as a consequence of India shutting off its airspace. So this is the kind of loss that they'll suffer, somewhere between 108 million to 160.8 million till May 24th, so in a matter of 4 weeks. So that's how Pakistan will be affected because of longer routes for Pakistan flights. Instead of going through India, they have to fly via China, via Sri Lanka, and then reach their destination. So it's increased by 2 hours, as I told you. And because of these longer routes, there could be flight delays as well. Pakistan, now all the airlines will be scrambling to kind of refix all of their schedules. We've already told you repeatedly about how also Pakistani airlines have a shortage of aircraft. So now this will lead to delays because they can't really add more or throw in more in the system. There's also reduced frequency of Pakistani flights because of the added cost. In all likelihood, from 6 flights per week to Kuala Lumpur, for example, that number in all likelihood will come down. There's high operational costs, more fuel requirement, which is why those prices I showed you shoot right up. What does that also mean for the average consumer in Pakistan? Ticket prices obviously will go up. For airlines to be able to pay for the additional 2 hours, for the additional costs there, they will ensure it goes right through to the consumer as well. I'll bring in Shivani Sharma again on this for more details. Shivani, you know, we've seen already this kind of action being taken by Pakistan. I'll talk about how Pakistan has essentially shot itself in the foot by doing that. But for India to take this step is significant. Take us through the thinking of the administration, why they chose to actually close off their airspace. Now, we understand that multiple steps have also been taken to ensure that any aircraft that's detected around Indian airspace is immediately blocked off.
Akshita, see, the wars are not only fought on the war field. Sometimes the wars are fought on the diplomatic fields too, and that's what India has been doing. After the 22nd April attack of Pahalgam, there have been multiple strikes on Pakistan that India has taken on, hitting hard on the economy, hitting hard on the visa cancellation, hitting hard by cancelling the Indus Water Treaty. And that's what we are seeing, a lot of panic in Pakistan. When we talk about the airspace banning, this is causing a direct hit on the aviation sector of Pakistan. Pakistan's economy has been in shambles. Everybody knows about it. It has been depending on other nations for funds. It has been asking for help. And now, when Indian government has taken these initial steps, it's all the more difficult for Pakistan to sustain itself because, you know, cancellation of visas has been causing a lot of discomfort to people. We've been playing those stories almost every day. Banning of YouTube channels of the celebrities of Pakistan who've gained popularity in India is another massive blow. Now, banning the airspace is one major hit that India has given out. And remember, Akshita, this is all happening on the diplomatic channels. India has not even initiated action militarily. And India has been authorized to do so. Not only the forces are ready for it, but now the global community is also standing by India. So India has started with these initial steps, and this is hitting Pakistan hard in its spine and affecting its, impacting its economy. And that's why we are seeing these steps that have been quite impactful as we see these statements, reactions from Pakistan too.
Yeah. All right, Shivani, just stay with me. I was referring earlier to how Pakistan took a similar step much earlier, where they closed off their airspace for India flights. But here's what's interesting. When Pakistan does it, they're actually suffering losses, incurring losses as a result. Yes, Indian airlines also suffering losses, but here's how much Pakistan is losing and why. Airlines essentially, when they fly over a country's airspace, pay something called an overflight fee. Pakistan is losing overflight fees. What I'm referring to here is that when Indian airlines also fly over Pakistan, they pay a certain amount to Pakistan as overflight fees. And Pakistan is losing out on that amount from India. How much are we talking about? Pakistan is losing $232,000 daily due to overflight fee losses from India. Imagine that. That's a daily count that I'm giving you. Pakistan is estimated, therefore, to lose over $50 million. How do we come to that figure? You go back to 2019 after the Pulwama attack, when again a similar step was taken. Pakistan actually lost over $50 million then. And that's why now too, it's estimated that their losses could be somewhere around this number, or for that matter, even more. Let's cut across to breaking news coming in. There's major build-up along the border by the Pakistani military, which is completely in a panic, not sure what to expect from India, so is possibly taking all necessary steps to build up along their borders. They're deploying air defense, artillery units to forward locations, radar systems, air defense weapon systems. All of that has been brought into the Longewala sector in Barmer of Rajasthan, is what sources have told us. The Pakistani military also has deployed the airport security force for protection of ground assets for all security of air bases. Let me bring in Shivani for more details on that. Shivani, we've been reporting repeatedly of how exactly Pakistan is in absolute panic. They're rattled, they're scared of what's coming their way. They've been predicting that in 24 hours, 36 hours, there's going to be a strike and whatnot. And we understand along the borders, there's massive build-up by Pakistan.
Akshita, you remember that press conference that was conducted midnight by the Information Minister of Pakistan, where he said that they are expecting and they are anticipating an attack from India in 24 to 36 hours. But 24 and 36 hours have gone by, but the panic remains in Pakistan. We see the forces are being moved close to the border, and that shows their discomfort and fear, and they are expecting a hard-hitting attack from India. That's why we've been reporting through the sources that these assets of military in Pakistan have been moved quite closer to the LOC. Despite this, we also witnessed that since past 7 days, Akshita, there have been unprovoked firing carried out by Pakistan. The small arm firing that has been carried out by Pakistan, it has been violating the ceasefire. It has been trying to provoke the issue. India has been responding befittingly, but India is still working in silence on how it will be carrying out its attack in the long term against Pakistan's terror state. So this is the movement of forces closer to the line of control in Pakistan. We've also seen some visuals, Akshita, of the RT guns of Pakistan moving towards the western border. In fact, closer to the LOC. So all this shows that Pakistan is immensely scared. It is immensely in panic. It is actually sensing some impending dangers, impending attack from India's side, and that's why it is trying to prepare itself to save itself from this anger of India, where India wants to avenge the deaths of 26 innocent people who were the tourists who were killed by the terrorists who were harbored and supported by Pakistan.
Okay, thanks very much, Shivani, for joining us with those details. Pakistan has no idea what's coming. So they're predicting when there's going to be a strike, what nature of strike there will be, and preparing for all possibilities. But clearly the government is sending across one message, that Pakistan will never know what's coming their way, that it's going to hit them completely out of the blue. We've been seeing a multi-pronged strike, if you will, against Pakistan. India's been cracking down also on Pakistani artists in the aftermath of the terror attack. India's blocked a slew of Pakistani films. It's disabled Instagram handles of Pakistani singers, actors and musicians. The YouTube channel of the Pakistani Army's media wing, ISPR, has also been shut off in India because the amount of propaganda they spew. But that's not all. Some of the most popular faces of the Pakistani film industry, Mahira Khan, Hania Amir, Ali Zafar, Sanam Saeed, Bilal Abbas, Ikra Aziz, Imran Abbas, Sajal Ali, the list goes on and on. But these are some of the most popular names. They've all been restricted in India. None of their Instagram accounts are accessible. None of their social media accounts are accessible. And remember that this comes days after Fawad Khan's upcoming film, Abir Gulal's release, was also banned in India. Previously, we've seen a similar kind of action and outrage too, because remember after the 2016 Uri attack, Karan Johar's Ae Dil Hai Mushkil featuring Fawad Khan again faced massive backlash, and then Karan Johar very publicly promised not to work with Pakistani talent in the future. Mahira Khan is someone who was cast opposite Shah Rukh Khan in Rais and was barred from promoting the film in India, considering she's a Pakistani actor who was part of an Indian film. So the Indian Motion Picture Producers Association has passed a resolution prohibiting Pakistani artists from Indian films. After the 2019 Pulwama attack, you also had music label T-Series actually going ahead and cracking down on songs sung by Pakistani singers like Atif Aslam and Rahat Fateh Ali Khan from its platform. So it's not something new, but now you've got the government actually stepping in and going ahead and blocking these accounts. Speaking of celebrities, remember the Wave Summit, which is taking place in Mumbai. You have the biggest celebrities coming together there. Superstar Rajinikanth was also there. And in his first address, really, in that platform, the first thing he spoke about was the Pahalgam attack, describing it as barbaric and merciless. But what's gone viral also is Rajinikanth voicing his full confidence in Prime Minister Modi, saying he has the ability to handle this crisis. Listen in to Rajinikanth.
Many people told me the government definitely postponed this event because of unnecessary criticism. Because this event is, subject is entertainment. But I was confident this event definitely will happen because I am confident on my president, on my Prime Minister, Modi ji. He is a fighter. He will meet any challenge. He has proven it. We have been saying it from last 1 decade. Even this situation also, he will face it bravely, gracefully, and bring peace in Kashmir and glory to our country.
And let's get you some of the highlights from the WAVE Summit. Prime Minister Modi today inaugurated the World Audio, Visual and Entertainment Summit in Mumbai. Let's get you some of those highlights.
World Audio, Visual and Entertainment Summit यानी वेव्स, ये सिर्फ एक्रोनिम नहीं है, ये वाकई एक वेव है। साथियों, जैसे नया सूरज उगते ही आकाश को रंग देता है, वैसे ही ये समिट अपने पहले पल से ही चमकने लगी है। Right from the first moment, the summit is roaring with purpose. विकसित भारत की हमारी जर्नी तो अभी शुरू हुई है। भारत के पास इससे भी कहीं अधिक ऑफर करने के लिए है। भारत बिलियन प्लस आबादी के साथ साथ बिलियन प्लस स्टोरीज का भी देश है। भारत के इस खजाने की बास्केट बहुत बड़ी है, बहुत विशाल है। इस खजाने को दुनिया के कोने-कोने में ले जाना।
Let's get you some of the highlights from the WAVE Summit in Mumbai, where the biggest stars have come together for this conclave. Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan reflected on his cinematic journey at WAVES 2025, urging everyone in the industry to be gentle. He also expressed gratitude for the love he's received, especially from Indian audiences. And listen in to what Karan Johar and Deepika Padukone had to say in one of those sessions at WAVES.
Remember what the beginning felt like when you started your journey. I mean, when you began your journey with Shah Rukh himself in Om Shanti Om, did you realize, did you feel, what was that feeling? What was that exact kind of emotion that, went through you?
I have to agree with Shah Rukh that these are terms that we seem to be discussing now, insider, outsider. When I began, it was just a new world. I was a 16, 17-year-old girl who came from Bangalore, and Farah Khan showed interest in casting me in a movie. I was transitioning between Bangalore and Mumbai at the time, and, she didn't even audition me. I remember doing a meeting with her once, and she said, I want you to meet Shah Rukh once, and he was shooting for Chak De in Australia at the time. And she said, once he's back, we'll do a meeting, and that was it. So for me, it just happened. Of course, I was a model before that, and they'd seen some of my work, but I never felt like I was an outsider trying to make my place in a new industry, or I had the dedication, I had the passion, I had the determination, the hard work. Those were the things in my control, and those were the things that I applied to what I was passionate about. But as a child, I felt like somewhere as a kid, I knew that whatever I do in my life, I will do it well, to the best of my ability. And then, you know, Om Shanti Om happened. And again, a place where I was just allowed to thrive, make mistakes. I never was made to feel like a newcomer or an outsider. And you've seen that so closely, Karan, in the way that I was presented. I can't think of the last time, you know, a newcomer was given a double role. Such meaty roles and characters, and something that you could really sink your teeth into, and opposite the biggest superstar of our country. I mean, it's unheard of, right? Call it destiny, hard work, whatever. But I think the point being that it just felt like home. It felt comfortable. I could make mistakes. I could be vulnerable. And I think that's why I was able to thrive, and then the movie went on to do what it did, because it was just made with a lot of love.
So you're witnessing some great conversations there at the Waves Tower. But let's get you a roundup of some of those highlights. So superstar Shah Rukh Khan was at Waves 2025, present in that summit with Deepika Padukone and Karan Johar, where he urged everyone in the industry to be gentle. Deepika Padukone, meanwhile, highlighted that Waves is a rare platform that brings together various creative industries under one roof. She also emphasized its significance as India is rising on the global stage. Akshay Kumar, interestingly, moderated a panel discussion featuring cinema legends Chiranjeevi, Mohanlal and Hema Malini. The panel praised Prime Minister Modi's vision for Waves and discussed how Indian cinema is evolving. Bollywood legend Mohanlal at the event celebrated the unique identity of Malayalam cinema, calling it the intellectual soul of Indian cinema. He also lauded its ability to seamlessly blend art house depth with commercial appeal. It's been days since our viral interview of superstar Ajith, but one of the biggest talking points has been Ajith's message to his peer Vijay, who of course has taken the political plunge. So I asked him specifically about whether he thinks it's a good step to take for actors to step into politics and whether he himself would consider it. So here's an excerpt of that exclusive one-hour conversation that I had with Ajith. So you're into motorsport, actor, of course. There are a lot of peers in your industry who have also taken the other jump, which is politics. What do you think of that? Is that something you would ever consider?
No, personally, I'm not politically ambitious. And as far as my peers' interest in politics is concerned, it's, of course, their personal choice. I wish them well. And it's their belief. And the best thing about democracy is that, you know, people finally get to choose their leadership, and I wish not just my peers, anybody who wishes to get into politics, believing that they can make a change, I wish them well. I wish them well. It's their personal choice.
Do you think it's a natural transition? It's a big responsibility, you know, being in politics, representing people. So you think it's a natural transition of sorts? You have this huge fan base which then converts into political support?
Okay, let me put it this way, you know, like for example, people watching films, it's easy for them to be watching a film and then to judge and say, oh, this film may be punir kala, you know, you could have done this, the film could have been better. But being in the film industry, nobody wants to make a bad film. From the outside, it's easy for us to pass judgments or, you know, give suggestions as to how what kind of policies could be implemented or what's good for the country. But it's only if you are in the battlefield, you really know what the issues are, or why is it difficult to, or how easy or difficult it is to implement policies. Because, we are a country of 1.4 billion people, different religions, castes, languages. So it's very difficult to please all the people all the time. And believe me when I say this, when I was at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, right from entering Rashtrapati Bhavan, following the protocol, going through the security, I could feel the weight of that responsibility that leaders have to experience every day in their life. And trust me, I don't envy them. I mean, it's a tough, it's a very tough job. It's a lesson learned. I've always been apolitical. I've tried to be very consciously, and then I think that's the way I would like to be it state politics or center national politics. I'll definitely be very conscious in passing my judgments, even among my close circle, because I could feel that at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. I could really feel it.
And you can catch that full interview with Ajith's 60-minute interview, which we've premiered on his birthday on India Today's YouTube channels. We'll be getting you all the latest reactions also to Ajith's wishes for superstar Vijay turned Neta, of course. But let's move on and get you details of the fallout of the announcement made by the Modi government on caste census. The centre has announced yesterday that a caste census will be conducted alongside the upcoming national population census. And while making the announcement, the central government listed out what it called the Congress party's hypocrisy on the issue, suggesting inconsistencies in the opposition's past stance on caste-based enumeration. So now you're seeing a credit war, essentially, that's broken out. But let me also get you details right now of exactly what this caste census actually means. It could lead to expansion of caste-based quotas in jobs and education that could benefit the backward class. But there's also a question mark about the 50% cap, the quota cap. This exercise is likely to also breach that 50% cap that was set up by the 1992 Indira Sawhney judgment of the Supreme Court. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi has welcomed the centre's decision, though he had said that, of course, it's been taken under pressure. Other opposition leaders also have welcomed it. There are lots of questions about the timing, with the opposition saying it's timed to the Bihar elections. We're a few months away from the elections. But let's get you all of the reactions and how the government has reacted to the opposition.
कुछ लोग बुखलाए गए हैं, कहते हैं सरकार उनकी है, सिस्टम हमारी है। उन्होंने उन दिनों में राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्री को पत्र लिख के कहा था गुणवत्ता घट जाएगी अगर जाति आधारित अवसर मिलेगा। सिस्टम किसके हाथ में था? काका कालेलकर कमेटी की रिपोर्ट को लंबे समय तक या बिल्कुल सामने नहीं ले आने का निर्णय किसने किया था? तब भी जो फास्ट फैमिली आज घमंड से भरा हुआ अहंकार की बात कहता है, उन्हीं के हाथ में सिस्टम था। उनकी दादी तब की प्रधानमंत्री स्वर्गीय इंदिरा गांधी जी के हाथ में कमान थी।
Caste census, we have been fighting now for some time. Government has opposed for some reason. We don't understand what that reason is. They have suddenly decided to do it. We welcome that. We are happy that they have done the caste census.
एक प्रकार से इस विषय के ऊपर कांग्रेस केवल राजनीति करती रही, लेकिन धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का, जिन्होंने ये ऐतिहासिक निर्णय लिया, जिस निर्णय के कारण भारत का जो अंतिम व्यक्ति है उस तक विकास को पहुंचाने में एक बहुत बड़ी मदद मिलेगी।
He was not born at that time. That's why he is telling like that. By birth, the RSS is against reservation. Whatever Congress says good thing, that also they oppose. And whenever they feel that people are going against them, Congress is agitating, then they say that this is necessary.
कांग्रेस और कौन सा अलायंस है वो इंडिया अलायंस, उन्होंने सिर्फ आश्वासन ही दिया है, केवल घोषणा ही की है, वोट बैंक की राजनीति की है, केवल वोट बैंक की राजनीति।
कास्ट सेंसस को लेकर के आज वही बात सच हुई जो लालू जी और तेजस्वी जी बहुजन सरोकारों की जीत हुई है। हमारा बार बार मानना था कि ये सरकार धैर्य की परीक्षा ले रही है, बहुजन समाज की, बहुजन आबादी की। धैर्य के साथ ये लड़ाई लड़ी गई। अब सरकार से आग्रह होगा कि इसको उपकरण की तरह मत इस्तेमाल कीजिए, आंकड़े लाइए और आंकड़ों के आधार पर प्रतिनिधित्व, हिस्सेदारी, भागीदारी सुनिश्चित।
कांग्रेस पार्टी के पाप को भी धोने का काम किया है। नेहरू से लेकर के मनमोहन सिंह तक 1952 में नेहरू जी ने काका कालेलकर आयोग को ठुकराया, इंदिरा जी ने ठुकराया मंडल आयोग को, राजीव गांधी ने ठुकराया। ये जो अभी उछल के वो बचवा बोल रहा है, हमारे पुरखों का है। गरीबों के प्रति, सामाजिक समरसता के प्रति जो पाप किया था नरेंद्र मोदी ने, जातीय जनगणना की स्वीकृति दे करके उस पाप को धोया है।
प्राइम मिनिस्टर से ये रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि आप अपने आप को ओबीसी का नेता बोलते। प्राइम मिनिस्टर छाती को मार के बोले मैं बैकवर्ड क्लास का नेता हूं। आप एक बिल डालो ना पार्लियामेंट में, 50% रिजर्वेशन को ब्रेक करो आप। और सेंसस आप कब करेंगे, ये उसमें सेंसस कब शुरू करेंगे, उसको कब कंप्लीट करेंगे, और क्या 29 पार्लियामेंट इलेक्शन से पहले इंप्लीमेंट होगा नहीं होगा।
As far the census report is concerned, Karnataka government welcomes it. Already my leader Shri Rahul Gandhi also has welcomed it. We want a time frame in it. The Congress party is committed to give social justice to every section of the society, whoever may be, whatever may be, whichever caste they may be. Their data should be available to the public, and they also should be convinced their rights has to be established in a systematic way. Congress governments are committed to cooperate with it.
Prime Minister Modi is all set to inaugurate and commission the Vizhinjam seaport in Kerala tomorrow. And ahead of that, a big political credit war that's broken out over the port. Remember, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayam will be there for the commissioning tomorrow. And even as there have been questions of who is to be credited for the Vizhinjam port, Pinarayi Vijayan has maintained that the previous government did nothing but actually lay the foundation stone. Remember that the Vizhinjam port is a very ambitious project built at a cost of over 8,000 crores. It's been essentially in the works for the last many years. And the Kerala Chief Minister has maintained very, very clearly that the only reason that we're actually seeing the Vizhinjam port become a reality right now is because of his government's push for its development. Remember that the Vizhinjam seaport is very close to Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala, but it's going to essentially put India on the global maritime map. And that's why it's such a crucial development for the country, for Kerala too. Prime Minister Modi is going to be there tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the commissioning of this seaport. You will also see the Kerala Chief Minister present there. There's been a political war of words also over why the leader of opposition of Kerala, Mr. Satishan, hasn't been invited for this particular event. But also, as the politics speaks, this particular project is a game changer for Kerala, which is why with elections scheduled to happen next year in the state, there's a credit war that's broken out as well. Essentially, Pinarayi Vijayan saying that it's not by pushing any ordinary boat into the waters that we're going to inaugurate this particular port, suggesting that nothing was really done by the previous government except laying a foundation stone, and that it is his government that's worked actively to ensure the development of this port. It's been in the midst of a political controversy previously too, and that's largely because of the fight over Adani's involvement in the development of this port, which is a public-private partnership. So the Prime Minister will be commissioning that port at 11 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be getting you those live updates as well. We're cutting across live now to Home Minister Amit Shah, who's currently speaking.
रेखा जी भी वहां पर उपस्थित थी, प्रवेश यहां पर बैठा है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकारें ये पूरी योजना को समयबद्ध तरीके से पूरा करने के लिए कटिबद्ध है और यमुना का शुद्धिकरण न केवल दिल्ली वासियों के लिए, न केवल किनारे के राज्यों के लिए, श्री कृष्ण के प्रति और यमुना जी के प्रति श्रद्धा रखने वाले सभी भारत के नागरिकों के लिए बहुत महत्व रखता है। और मुझे विश्वास है जो कार्य योजना मोदी जी ने बनाई है उस पर ये जरूर होकर रहेगा।
So we're going to get you a highlight of what Home Minister Amit Shah has said, again issuing a stern warning and making it very clear that the government will not spare any of the terrorists involved in the Pahalgam attack. Previously too, he said that every terrorist will be hunted down. So a clear message coming in from the Home Minister. So let's get you our fact check of the day. Now, there are images and videos doing the rounds right now with a claim that Pakistan shot down a Rafale jet near LOC, and these pictures have been doing the rounds on social media. You may have seen it too. Is this true? Not really. Let's get you the fact. This is a video actually from June 2024, from last year, which shows essentially a Sukhoi crashing in Nashik of Maharashtra. So don't believe everything you see on social media. We will continue getting you all of our fact checks, showing you what's real, what's not.